is a spokesperson for Unicef. He's in this town, the city of Lviv. James, good evening to you, South African time. I appreciate the time. What is the situation on the ground? You particularly work with trying to help children. What are you seeing around you at the moment?
Hi there, Stephen. It's horrendous, just deep amounts of trauma. Where I am in Ukraine, not far from the Polish border, it's a thoroughfare of people who've been in Kiev or Kharkiv, the second city, been under bombardment, who've slept nights in bunkers, absolutely terrified, days to get here at train stations or in cars or whatever. They're cold, they're tired. My husbands and wives farewelling each other, fathers trying to explain to 7-year-olds why dad's leaving. It's awful. It's a stream of sorrow and stress for all concerned, and that's those people here, much less those people who are still stuck tonight amid ongoing bombardments.
What kind of help do people, particularly children, need? For a start, is there even enough food there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Without sounding glib, obviously, the first thing we need is for the fighting to stop. Heavy weapons in civilian areas, these things. We know children are being killed. We know they're being injured. That needs to stop. UNICEF is not a political organisation, so we pick up the pieces time and again. Children, they need emergency health care, emergency sanitation. We see water systems destroyed. You need clean water when rivers are frozen. A lot of psychological support, Stephen. Deep trauma on kids. I cannot believe we're seeing another nation where children are learning what conflict looks like. There's no school. We've all been through COVID. I know you have in South Africa. Globally, we've all done it. We know how important school is for kids. The only lesson these kids are learning is, that what an air raid siren goes off and you jump out of your bed and run to your bunker. So it's an enormous amount of need, and as long as this fighting continues, the need will continue to outstrip the supply.
Are people trying to take children out of the country? Ukraine's a population of 44 million people. That must mean there must still be millions of children who are there and possibly in danger.
Spot on. I think it's now about 650,000 people have fled in 6 days, so more than 100,000 a day. Half of those are children. Trains are packed with women and children. So yes, but that leaves many. This is a country of 7.5 million children. So you're absolutely right to explain what that looks like. That looks like still now children who are at grave risk amid that fire, amid heavy weapons, amid that massive build-up. It's impossible to convey what that looks like for children. You see the photos of 30 people crammed in bunkers. I spoke to a little girl just yesterday at the train station. She was only 7 and her mum was explaining she was terrified in a bunker because there were rats. Her mum was having to say, yes, there are rats, but, you're safe from the bombs. Families are dealing with these kind of decision-making.
It's an incredible situation that you paint. What kind of help do people need? What kind of help is the rest of the world giving? Is the world giving any help at all? You, of course, are trying to help children there, and must be almost impossible to do in a time of conflict.
Yeah, look, this is what UNICEF does. We have pre-positioned supplies. We had a big operation in the east. We know how to move things quickly. We've got trucks coming into Poland with that kind of emergency sanitation or health, obstetric care, rather. Women having babies in bunkers. So we know those supplies. But, I'd be amiss to say that it's all sorted. It's not. There's just far too much need. But that's what UNICEF does. And anyone who can support UNICEF is supporting these children in Ukraine who, well, I've spoken to more than 100, Stephen. I've not spoken to a single person who wants to leave. This is their home. So speaking to, professionals, mechanics and physiotherapists and teachers, they want to be here with their families, but they realise that they feel the only way to guarantee their child's safety is to head to the borders.
Children are being uprooted, their entire families are being uprooted. We all know how traumatic that is for children. They're also seeing their parents being uprooted. That's also traumatic for children. They'll see their parents in the most unbelievable trauma in Ukraine at the moment.
No, exactly. Yeah. Mums and dads, embracing each other. I've seen so many stoic parents just, try and keep such a brave face despite being in a bunker on Saturday and watching their world fall apart, and maybe then a night at a train station. It's freezing here. It's below 0. It's snowing. And so after a day or two, of course, parents break. Parents try their best, and then children see that. And mums and dads will explain that, how their kids deal with this. Some kids sleep much more as their way of coping. Some are angry. Some are just in tears. A train station here in Lviv echoes with tears. So there's all sorts of coping mechanisms, and none of them are good. And as you rightly say, UNICEF, from all our experience and all those existing places of hardship for kids, we know the longer things go on, the more that trauma becomes embedded, and the harder it is for them to recover.
James Elder, thank you very much indeed. Spokesperson for the UN agency UNICEF in Ukraine at the moment, doing what they can to try and help children in that country as that conflict continues. Well,